Hello and welcome to Crimewatch Roadshow. It's the last week of the series and we still need your help to catch the criminals. Also today, the elderly postmaster attacked at knife point as he worked in his shop.
He started shouting, "I'm going to kill you. Open the door, give me the keys."
And how images from your phone could make all the difference to the fire service. Today, the Roadshow's moved to the Midlands, to Handsworth Fire Station in Birmingham. Tina Dahealy, it's your first morning with us. What are you up to?
Hi, Rav. Well, I am in the middle of a cannabis farm. It looks and even smells very realistic, but it's fake and it's used by the emergency services to train them how to deal with the very many real dangers found in illegal cannabis factories. Join me later for the full guided tour.
Thanks, Tina. But first, can you help police and a grieving family solve a mystery that spanned almost 9 years?
When I met Sergit, he was just like a normal guy. He was about 18, 19, I think he was. I was only 17. Really friendly, really nice person. We were married for about 14, 15 years. We had 3 children.
But over the years, the family went through some tough times.
He was drinking quite heavily. Throughout the years, he carried on drinking, and it got really serious. Reason why we both actually split up.
Sergit Takar left the family home in Walsall in 2007 before moving into a flat a few miles away in Oldbury.
He was really determined during that year to change, to be a better person, to stop drinking, prove to us that he is a family man, that he's there for the children, and the children can start building the trust and relying on him again.
But before that could happen, Sergit went missing.
Because of his drink, he'd go away for a week and then he'd come back, and it was a pattern that I was used to. So to me, it didn't really mean anything when he went for that week. And then suddenly when I found out he was gone for 2 weeks, I knew something was wrong.
Sergit was reported missing by his family on the 8th of October 2008. For his children, growing up without their father was a confusing time.
We were worried as well, but because he used to disappear like a lot, we weren't really sure how to feel.
We were all angry, thinking he just left and went and not wanting to come back to even see the children. They had exams, they had their 13th birthday, 16th, 18th, all these milestones.
7 years went by with no news. Then, in August 2015, their worst fears were realised.
A police investigation is underway after a human skull was discovered near Junction 4 of the M54 at Telford in Shropshire. A forensic inquiry is now being carried out at the scene.
The remains were found just to the side of me here by Junction 4, the M54, on the eastbound slip road, which runs towards the M6 in the Birmingham direction. These remains were found by workmen who were surveying the land here.
To build up a picture of how long the body had been at the scene, police brought in forensic experts to analyse plant growth and other evidence.
They were believed to be the remains of a male, aged roughly between 28 to 35 years of age. There were some Sikh bangles, which we believed the deceased had been wearing at the time of his death.
On the TV, I saw the appeal. They showed some Sikh bangles, which I recognised straight away. I knew they were his. I saw them, I recognised them.
The family contacted the police. A DNA sample from a tooth confirmed it was Sergit.
It was just a normal day. I went to work, and then suddenly I had officers visit me at work to let me know that they had found a body, to find out that he was actually buried for all these years, and it confirmed it was him. I mean, I went into shock straight away. I just couldn't believe it was him.
Mixed emotions, because we didn't really know how to feel as well.
Because he'd been there for so long ago, yeah.
I think, we're probably still in shock now, to be honest.
To be told that his remains had been there for a long time, my emotions just, I think they all, from being angry, just went into guilt, and like the fact that I'd thought in my head that he just left us and everything. So I think it was a lot of guilt at the time. It still is, to be honest.
Tests confirmed that Sergit had suffered injuries to his face, ribs and wrist, all consistent with some sort of trauma. When he went missing in 2008, traces of blood had also been found at his home.
The site where the remains were found was clearly a site where they'd been disposed of, as opposed to somebody falling or coming accidentally across their death at that location. This, supported by the bloody tissue from the address and the circumstances around Sergit not being seen since 2008, led this to be a suspicious death.
Police are now appealing to the local community where Sergit spent the last few months of his life to help them solve what they believe to be a murder.
We need answers.
Yeah, we just want to know what happened. And
why did it happen?
yeah.
Someone out there, please, for my children's sake, for my sake, if you know anything, no matter how small it is, just please come and let the police know, let somebody know. They've lived a life without their father for all these years, without any answers and questions. I just want them, I want what's best for, obviously, for all of us, for our children, and for Sergit to rest in peace.
Detective Inspector James Monroe is with me now. You saw there just how determined Sergit's family are to find his killer. What more do we know about the type of lifestyle he was living?
Well, we know that Sergit was living a very chaotic lifestyle at the time of his disappearance. He was drinking heavily and he'd also run up some debts. I'm really keen to speak to people who may well have information regarding those issues that he had at the time and to come forward so we can bring some peace to Sergit's family.
Now, of course, it happened a long time ago, but it's possible someone may have seen something suspicious around the time his body was dumped. Remind us where it was found.
That's right. Junction 4 of the M54, that's in the Birmingham direction on the eastbound slip road, was where Sergit's remains were found. Keen to speak to anybody who may well have seen suspicious activity around October 2008, the time of his disappearance.
And James, what other information are you hoping for in this case?
I'm really keen to speak to people who have specific information regarding Sergit's disappearance. He went missing on the 1st of October 2008 now, from his address in Bomford Road in the Albury area of the West Midlands. And I'm really keen to speak to people as well who may well have information regarding his lifestyle. Particularly, he's frequented the Temple on the Soho Road in the inner centre of Birmingham, and that's really key for us.
And you are particularly keen to hear again from someone who contacted you last year.
That's correct. 25th of January last year, we had a call to the incident room with somebody with some specific information regarding this case, an anonymous male caller. That person, unfortunately, was cut off before they were put through to the investigation team. I'm urging that person to come forward again today, and obviously their call will be treated in the strictest of confidence.
James, thank you very much. If you have any information that could help, please do get in touch. You saw how desperate Sergit's family are for answers. The lines are open now. Rav.
Thanks, Dana. Time now for our roundup of criminals caught on CCTV. So take a look and see if you recognise any of these faces.
This guy driving his soft top is here for the second time today to sell his laptop and mobile phone. When the deal goes pear-shaped, he decides to head home, keeping hold of his gadgets. But he's being blocked in by a van just off camera, and he's in for a shock. 4 robbers get out and swarm his car. What you don't see is a man pointing a gun straight at the victim. Then they go for him, ripping his jewellery and watch away. They ransack the front and back seats, even the boot. Once satisfied, the robbers take his car keys, leaving the victim pleading for them back. Eventually, they made off with over 8 grand's worth of goods and threw the guy's keys on the floor. If you think you know who these men are, then we need to hear from you. It's Christmas Eve, but this guy isn't quite getting into the spirit of things. He forces his way into a mosque in central London, and it looks like he's on a mission. Kicking in the locked office door, he scrambles around looking for things to pinch. Once satisfied, he scarpers as quick as he can, nicking the Imam's personal laptop, £600 in cash, and causing around £400 worth of damage. If you know who this crook is, then call us now.
If you recognised anyone, get on the phone now. Call us for free on 08000 468 999, or you can text us on 63399. Text CW space and then your message. Text will be charged at your standard message rate, or send us an email. There's the address. It's cwr@bbc.co.uk. Tina.
Well, Rav, this bit of kit is very useful for the teams whose job it is to find illegal cannabis farms. It's a thermal imaging camera, and police use it to detect large areas of heat coming off the lights used to grow plants. Mike Hall is from West Midlands Police Cannabis Disposal Team. Mike, when might you use this?
This will be used in part of the checks and balances when people give us information on suspicion that there's a cannabis factory somewhere. We use this as another indicator to give us more information, so we'll be able to put that information in front of a magistrate.
OK, let's have a go. What do I do?
Just point it at the windows.
OK.
And you'll see the heat source coming out on the colour palette. Lots of different colours on there, and it'll show you the temperature of the windows. So where the heat is coming out from a cannabis factory, out of the eaves and underneath the windows, we'd expect to see a difference from a house where there isn't a cannabis factory.
So you're able to establish that there might be cannabis inside before you need to go in?
Absolutely, yes.
Very clever. Mike, thank you very much indeed. And in a moment, I'll be taking a look around the fake cannabis farm at this fire station. But first, I spent some time with Mike's team to find out just how hazardous it can be.
The UK's wholesale cannabis market is thought to be worth almost £1 billion a year. It's cultivated in people's homes and in industrial-size operations. Stopping that trade is a priority for police.
Here in the West Midlands, police have set up a dedicated cannabis disposal unit to deal with the problem. And today, we've got access to their base to find out more about how they operate.
Set up in 2010, the team focuses on finding and disrupting cannabis farms run by organised gangs.
We're dealing with around 4 or 5 cannabis factories a day, generally. They come into us either through warrants, which have been community-led intelligence, or spontaneously, where we've discovered a cannabis factory for another reason, for instance, a fire or a search of a premises on an unrelated matter.
There can be multiple raids on any given day, so the team must be ready to react at a moment's notice.
Sonny, how do you prepare for a raid on a cannabis factory?
What we try and do is make sure we've got enough equipment that can more or less deal with as many scenarios as we possibly can. We've got cutters. Now, the standard issue, what the force says that we should really have is one of these. So what I prefer, and this is my absolute favourite, is these. So
I'd expect officers to have things like handcuffs, maybe a taser, a baton. This equipment's very different. You need gardening tools, essentially.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, just like the officers out on the streets, they need the correct equipment to deal with the scenarios that they're most likely to face. And just like with the cannabis team, we'll carry the equipment that we will need in order to serve the job.
A report has come in of a significant cannabis farm in a suburb of Birmingham. The team springs into action. Arriving on location, the team gets ready to make their first assessment under Mike's command.
2 officers will go in first to check for our safety and to give us a brief of what exactly we're facing in there. They'll check for floorboard safety, any structural alterations, any electrical hazards that might be in there.
One of the main things we check when we wreck a place is if there's any booby traps. They'll have nails put in the back of the doors so that when you're entering a room, it can catch you on your hand.
The house is declared safe to enter, and the team begins the task of seizing this huge haul of mature plants.
This room is typical of the way rooms are converted. All the electricity feeding the high-intensity lights, fans and ventilation systems. This fan is as heavy as a domestic fridge, and it's just hanging on wires above our head from the ceiling. There's also where the ventilation goes. They've knocked holes into the chimney breast and taken away some of the brickwork.
The criminal gang behind this farm have left the rented property in a hazardous state. They've even bypassed the meter to steal electricity.
They connect the electricity just using the live and neutral, and they don't earth the sockets. So potentially every bit of metal in this premises could have been electrified, including the radiators and the taps.
The high-value crop has been cut down and bagged up. And the team gets to work, dismantling the site.
Cannabis farm of this size would probably cost about £15,000 to set up, with the equipment, the lighting, the ventilation and all the growing materials. So what we aim to do to disrupt the drug network is take away the criminals' initial investment and take away any of their future profit, obviously by taking the cannabis away. And you can see here that people like to protect their investment, and these are some of the dangers that us as the police face when we go into cannabis factories.
The bags full of cannabis are removed and another successful raid comes to an end.
Out of the 4 rooms used, which were all 3 bedrooms and the loft, we've taken away a total of 219 plants.
The team heads back to base, where the sheer scale of the problem is clear to see.
Wow, this is a lot of cannabis. What are we looking at exactly?
We're looking about a month's haul off the streets of the West Midlands here. There's around 6 tonne.
So what's its commercial value?
A street value could be as much as about £60 million worth.
Just from a month's haul?
Yes, that's just from a month's haul.
That smell is overpowering, isn't it?
It is smelly, and the smell quite often is what gives it away to members of the public who report their concerns to us.
It's really strong. So this is all kept in a secure container here. What happens to it next? Where does it go?
All this is authorised for disposal. We wait for it to rot down a little bit, then everything is taken away and destroyed.
Well, before police can get drugs off the street, they need to gain entry to the property. That's not always easy. Here at this fake cannabis farm, officers are trained for that challenge, and that's what I'm doing now in this very dark, very cramped space. Sunny Singh is here again. Sunny, talk me through what you'd be doing here.
Right, so this simulates the trips and hazards that we come across when entering a cannabis farm. We can make this as easy or as difficult as we want, depending on the level of training that's required for the 999 services. However, in a real-life scenario, the space can be very confined, and we could even end up being on our hands and knees and to access places like the attic or loft. As you can see, there's a lot of things that we need to be aware of. The equipment that's over your head, we've got live wires just behind you, and also the things that are on the floor. So we need to remain vigilant at all times.
OK, Sunny, thank you. Thankfully, I don't have to crawl through here, but I do have to come down this ladder into the cannabis farm itself, and hopefully, oh, tricky, Michael should be waiting for me at the bottom. Here we go. Right, so this is it. Mike, it's very cramped in here. So that's the real cannabis, real cannabis plants that you see a few weeks ago. And this is the fake stuff, plastic plants that you use here. How does this place help prepare people for the real thing?
It's exposure training for 999 services, so we can highlight all the different hazards, all the different risks involved in entering and dealing with a cannabis factory. We can change that training to suit the scenario. We can do casualty evacuation from here, or even simulate fires or electrical hazards.
Some of these cannabis farms are really secure, though, and pretty difficult to get into.
Very difficult to get into. We use specialist method of entry equipment. Things like this, for instance.
This battering ram.
Which is a battering ram for a door.
Oh, that's really heavy. OK,
It's
take
really
that
heavy.
back. And how many cannabis farms would you be coming across typically?
We can see as many as 3, 4 or 5 in a day sometimes. It all depends on the level of information that the community are passing to their neighbourhood teams or to Crime Stoppers. It's those that give us the concerns to react to the problems that they're seeing.
And give us some examples of some of the most extreme ones you've been to.
We've seen as many as 8,000 plants in a disused factory in Coventry. We've seen ones that have caught fire. We've seen 4 houses that have been knocked together through their walls. We've seen cannabis farms underneath houses where they've removed all the supporting walls in the houses.
And we can actually have a look at some footage of one you attended not that long ago with a fire.
That's right.
OK, Mike, thank you very much indeed. And a little later on, I'll be finding out how the fire service deals with blazes at cannabis farms.
Thanks, Tina. Very impressive place. Right, lots more to come in today's programme.
Do you recognise this ruthless post office robber who left his victims terrified?
All of a sudden, he pulled a knife straight in rather than saying good morning or anything.
And Paul Foster was killed whilst walking to work. Police need to trace a driver who fled the scene of the fatal crash.
It's been devastating. It's tore the family apart. The little ones are just asking why. Where's Grandad? Why have they taken him away?
But first, police in Manchester are looking for two thieves who mugged a disabled pensioner on his way home from the shops. 74-year-old Pete Walker relies on his mobility scooter to get around after surviving a brain hemorrhage 6 years ago.
My dad is not mobile. He can just literally stand up into his wheelchair and then onto his scooter. That's as mobile as he is. Other than that, he can't do anything really.
I'm paralysed on the right side of my body, and it does make things difficult. I can't walk.
This couple came up behind him and went on either side of him. The guy was asking him where this place was, this so-called map, what he was showing him. And while my dad's talking to him, the woman on the other side was trying to distract and take his chain from his neck, which she succeeded.
Well, I tried to grab her, and it was too late.
He was quite shook up, and he was just all in a panic. He couldn't believe what had happened. He saw how vulnerable he was and helpless, defenceless. It's just not right.
It makes me feel very annoyed, very annoyed.
It's a shame that they haven't been found yet, and hopefully this appeal might work.
Yeah, it's really shocking. Now, this here is the gold necklace that was stolen. It was given to Pete by his mother, and he'd worn it for about 50 years, so it meant an awful lot to him. This attack happened at around 9:15 in the morning of Sunday the 19th of February in the town of Ashton-under-Lyne to the east of Manchester. Now, Pete had just been to the newsagents on Crow Hill Road and was making his way along Keswick Avenue when the man and woman approached him. They fled the scene in the direction of Furness Avenue. Now, this CCTV shows a van and a car driving past at the time of the offence, and police would like to speak to the occupants of those vehicles or anyone else who might have information about the two offenders. The male is described as being white, in his early 30s, around 5'8" tall, and of skinny build. He was wearing a grey woolly hat with a light brown jacket and blue jeans. The woman was around 40 years of age and wearing a long dark skirt and is about 5'8" tall. If you can help, please do call us now. Our numbers are on your screen.
Now, earlier we heard about some of the challenges the police face in tackling cannabis farms, but the fire service is often involved too. With me now is firefighter Lyndon Jones. Lyndon, you've been to several cannabis farms in the past few months, haven't you?
Yes, we've been to one literally just 2 streets away from the fire service. The neighbours have been watching it for a while. There's strange comings and going. The curtains were shut permanently. And eventually they found us when they saw some smoke coming from the roof.
Now, when you get there, you've got to put that fire out, and you're going to give us a demonstration of the sort of conditions you might face in the real thing.
OK, so what you see now is our usual BA team is just 2 people. They'll go up to the door, they'll make a door entry, they'll open the door slightly, just check behind it. They're checking for booby traps. If we suspect it's a cannabis farm, there could be booby traps. They'll move their way in. The smoke that you're seeing is...
There's a lot of smoke in here.
Yeah, this is cosmetic smoke. It's similar to what you'd find in a nightclub. Obviously, for real, it's thicker and you'll get some heat. So they're going to move their way up the stairs. They're constantly feeling in front of their faces for dangling cables, for any other booby traps. And they're also, you can hear them tapping their feet. They're checking for holes in the floor.
Yeah, it's really difficult even to see where you're going. We're approaching the cannabis farm itself now. What sort of booby traps will they be looking out for?
So sometimes what these criminals can do is they'll electrify door frames and put other sort of booby traps in place. I think there's a couple where they've literally electrified.
OK, let's go through.
Copper cable, and obviously we come across it. It's not necessarily for us, it's more for rival gangs. So moving into the room...
Lots of hazards in here.
OK, lots of hazards in here. Lots of lights. OK, so the crew now just extinguished the fire. Most of the fires that we come to in cannabis factories are electrical fires, so we don't tend to use a lot of water. You've heard there was a CO2 extinguisher, so they'll put the fire out. Once the fire's out, we'll have a search of the property, and make sure there's no one in there.
And obviously you need to preserve the evidence once you've established that the fire is caused by Cannabis Farm.
OK. Yeah, once we're happy with the fire and we've searched and there's no one there, we'll retreat outside, put a cordon up outside the door, and then we'll hand it over to the police.
OK, well, Lyndon, thank you very much. The smoke is starting to die down a little bit now, and later on we'll be finding out how one of these is now helping firefighters to do their job. Rav.
Sounds great. Thanks, Tina. Next, can you help police trace the man responsible for a cowardly knife attack on an elderly postmaster?
From 19th of July 1998, we were running a post office at Slade Road. Very nice business, happy customers.
Tarsum Thethi and his wife Kulwant have always enjoyed working together in their small shop and post office in the Erdington area of Birmingham.
We got good customers, and what we do is try to serve the community. We know most of them, even by name.
On a Friday morning back in March, Tarsum was preparing for another busy day at work.
It was just like any other day, and we just opened the shop. I was just trying to tidy up the shop.
But outside, a man was approaching the post office, and he wasn't looking to send a parcel.
When he came in, I was sort of greeting him as a customer, and then all of a sudden, from his side, he pulled a knife straight in rather than saying good morning or anything. It's there. So, yeah.
The man launched a terrifying attack on Tarsum, knocking the turban from his head and pushing him around the shop. He threatened the postmaster with the knife and demanded cash.
He started shouting, I'm going to kill you. Open the door, give me the keys.
I will kill you, give me money.
The attacker grappled with Tarsum, pushing the knife against his neck. Behind the counter, Kulwant watched in horror.
All of a sudden I saw my husband without a turban. I said, oh, there is something wrong, you know. And after that I saw the lad coming towards the screen of the post office, and I just hit the alarm.
With the panic alarm ringing out, the attacker lashed out one more time before making his escape empty-handed.
With all blood around his neck or shirt covered in blood, you know. It is scary.
Police in Birmingham are appealing for help to find the man who carried out this cowardly attack.
This man is a particular danger to the public and needs taking off the streets. We clearly want to be able to identify him, arrest him for the protection of the public, given the viciousness and how frenzied the attack was.
3 months on, Tarsum and Kulwant are still struggling to move on with their lives.
Since the attack, he's been nervous. He isn't the same person.
I still have flashback time to time. He just put the knife through my throat. And that's what he did, which is very scary.
PC Alan Reeves joins me now. A horrible attack that's had a real impact on the victims.
Yes, this was an extremely violent and nasty attack on Mr. Teddy, who is a popular and well-respected member of the local community. The emotional and psychological damage this has done, not only to him, but to his family and his wider family, is unbelievable. It's terrible.
Remind us where and when this happened.
Yeah, so this happened on Friday, the 17th of March this year. It was at the post office on Slade Road in Birmingham. It happened around 9:20 in the morning, so there would have been lots of people around. It's a very popular street, so there would be lots of people around at that time in the morning. So I would urge anybody that saw anything on that morning to contact us.
Now, one positive, you have got good CCTV footage of this man. What do we know about him?
Yeah, he's a white male. He's around 6 foot 2 inches tall. He's around 28 to 34 years of age. He's very slight build, and he's got fair, short hair, and he was wearing a very distinctive full-length camo type jacket, and he was also wearing 3/4 length navy trousers with a black baseball cap.
Do you think he's local to that area of Birmingham?
No, we don't think he's local. We think he may have been visiting somebody. Perhaps he was staying over with somebody in that area at that time. What I would do is urge anybody that knows him or recognises him to contact us as soon as they can.
And given how awful this attack was, are you concerned that he may strike again?
Clearly, looking at, you see the footage, clearly he's a violent man. He's got no qualms about both carrying the knife in public and using it against somebody. So we would urge anybody to contact us so that we can arrest this man and take him off our streets.
Alan, thank you very much. If you have any information that could help, please get in touch. And it's worth saying that if you're a victim of any crime, you can contact victim support on 0808 16 89 111. Rav.
Next, in our increasingly connected world, we rely more and more on computer systems, but they can be vulnerable to hackers looking to extort money.
In the past few months, the UK's Parliament, hospitals and biggest companies have become victims of a growing threat.
The NHS is the victim of a major cyber attack.
A cyber attack is sweeping across the globe, taking systems offline.
Malicious programs have infiltrated their computer systems, taking control of confidential data and holding it hostage. It's called ransomware, and it's a crime on the rise.
In a moment, I'll be talking to DI Mick Dodge from the City of London Police, who will be telling us about this growing problem. But first, I'm joined by Liz Gibbs-Murray from Bridgend, who just this year you were a victim of this yourself. What happened?
Yes, we were out of the office and we got contacted by the office to say that our files were disappearing and we'd been subject to a ransom attack.
Now, this is an accountancy firm, so you're looking after lots of people's private details. How did this make you feel when this happened?
Very vulnerable, very angry. They wanted £4,000, which we decided to pay. So very upset, very annoyed.
And you did pay the money, and that still didn't help?
No, we didn't get anything back in return.
OK, I mean, it's just awful what happened to you there. But Mick, explain to us, please, what is ransomware and how does it get on people's computers?
Yeah, so it's malicious software that's going to lock you out of your files or encrypt your data, so you won't be able to access anything like your documents or your photos. The most common way of it getting onto your computer is by opening an attachment or clicking on a link that's been sent to you from a cyber criminal.
OK, and we can see an example of what that may look like here. I mean, it's almost like they're making a joke out of it. Of course, there's nothing funny whatsoever about this. Oops, your files have been encrypted, it says. And it says what you have to do to get your files back. And on the left, you can see some sort of timer as well.
Yeah, there's a countdown timer there to put you under more pressure to pay the money across.
Which, in your case, still didn't help. So is paying it ever a good idea?
It's never a good idea to pay the money, as sort of you found out, unfortunately, Liz. You're giving money to criminals. There's absolutely no guarantee you'll get access to your files back as well.
So how can victims help not be a victim of this in the first place?
Yeah, so prevention is definitely better than cure. There's some really simple and free steps that you can take. So firstly, make sure all your software and apps are up to date. Make sure you use antivirus and keep that up to date, both of which you can do by turning on the automatic updates option.
A lot of that's free as well, isn't it?
Yeah, a lot of that's free. And finally, make sure you back up the really important data so you can get it back if the worst happens. You can do that on an external hard drive or into the cloud.
That's actually quite an easy thing to do, Liz, isn't it? You don't have to be particularly computer savvy to do something like that, which I'm not. I put my hands up, but you could do that. Some nice advice there. And Mick, what would you advise? Would you advise people to report this to you all the time?
Yeah, absolutely. Report it to Action Fraud if you get hit by ransomware. If you want more information, you can go to the Action Fraud website or follow at Cyber Protect UK on Twitter every day this week for more info.
Because there's you're doing a campaign this week?
Yeah, we're launching an information campaign this week, so every day you can get more information about ransomware and the detail of how to protect yourself.
Definitely worth checking out there. Mick, thank you for your advice over the last 4 weeks and thanks for joining us, Liz. Let's go back now to Tina.
Next, police here in Birmingham really need your help to track down one of the drivers involved in a horrific crash that killed a grandfather as he was walking to work.
He was a lovely man. He was a big family man, kind, caring, would do anything for anybody. So he's everything a granddad should be. It's a brilliant dad.
Shortly before Christmas, 61-year-old bus driver Paul Foster was walking to work for an early morning shift. At the same time, a white van and dark-coloured car were driving towards him. Just metres away from Paul, the two vehicles collided. The white van spun off the road, hitting Paul and killing him instantly.
We all got that horrible phone call, just telling us that he had gone.
Although police have spoken to the van driver, they still need to trace the driver of the dark-coloured hatchback who failed to stop.
I don't think we'll ever have closure, but the answer is yes, because it's like there's missing pieces to the jigsaw. It's just, we want to know what happened, how it happened. It's been devastating. It's tore the family apart, literally. It's heartbreaking to see, the grandchildren especially, because they don't understand. The older ones do, and they're angry. But the little ones are just asking why. Where's Grandad? Why have they taken him away?
Sergeant Alan Wood from West Midlands Police Collision Investigation Unit joins me now. A terrible tragedy that's had a dreadful impact on Paul's family. What can you tell us about the crash?
It happened on the 10th of December 2016 at 06:25 in the morning. It's on the A453 Aldridge Road at the junction with Wellhead Lane. It's near to Perry Bar Dog Stadium and it's quite a busy road. A hatchback, a black hatchback vehicle has undertaken a white transit van. They've come in close proximity and it's caused the white transit van to leave the road, lose control and collide with Mr Foster, who was on his way with work, and unfortunately killed him.
Now, you have spoken to the driver of the van, but you need help to track down the driver of the car, don't you?
We do, yes. We desperately need to speak to the driver of this vehicle. He failed to stop at the scene of the collision after Mr Foster was killed. What we know from the CCTV is that it continued along Aldridge Road, into College Road, and then on into the King's Standing area of Birmingham.
Now, this has been just devastating for Paul's family. What would you say to that driver or anyone who might know who they are?
I'd urge the driver to do the right thing now and to come forward and hand himself in. Likewise, if there was any passengers in that vehicle, if they could come forward, they're not in any trouble. We'd like to urge those people to come through. Likewise, if anybody's spoken to the driver and the driver's disclosed anything to them, then please come forward.
Alan, thank you very much indeed. If you have any information at all that could help, please get in touch. The numbers are on the screen, or you can also contact Crime Stoppers anonymously. They are on 0800 555 111. Rav.
Thanks, Tina. Now it's time for a look at today's wanted faces, and we're starting with Julie Rosen, although she also calls herself numerous other names, including Barbara Jones, Maria Morgan, Josephine Thompson or Lindsay Thompson. She was jailed for 2 years for theft offences and released from prison on licence, but she's failed to stick to her conditions and is now wanted back in jail. Rosen is 50 and has links to Liverpool, Nottingham, Staffordshire, Preston and Manchester. She has a scar on her left cheek and a split earlobe. She also has tattoos of male names on both arms. Or do you recognise this man? This is Jorito Marquez. Detectives would like to speak to him after vulnerable people were convinced to withdraw large sums of money in order to buy supposedly winning lottery tickets, which were in fact worthless. Marquez is 39 and originally from Colombia, but now has links to London and Birmingham. Next is this man. This is Derek Copeland. Police want to speak to him about a burglary at a house in the West Midlands. He has links to Birmingham and Wolverhampton. And finally today we have Christopher Connolly, although he also uses the surname Whitelaw. Detectives would like to question him in connection to a burglary at a block of flats in West London. Connolly is 34 with an Irish accent and links to North London. So if you know where any of these faces are, make sure you get in touch using the numbers on screen. Tina.
Here in the West Midlands, some pioneering new technology has just been introduced in the fire service. It allows people to use their smartphones to help them by providing live photos and videos of fires and other incidents like road traffic accidents in those crucial minutes when the fire service are on their way. It's called 999i, and here to tell me about it is Eddie Salmons. Eddie, tell me how this works.
Yeah, 999i is a piece of software that we use, and what it enables is our control room operators to see live images or live stream direct from that person taking the emergency call. What the operator will do will mobilise resources, and then they will send a text message directly to that caller, not breaking the audio link, they will press on that text message, which will enable the functionality of that phone to be used, so live streaming images can be directly sent back to our control room.
Now, this is very new. You've only been using it for 3 months. Is it helping?
Yeah, definitely. You know, what it does is we send our resources. Up until now, all we could do was take what the caller was telling us, but this gives us a visual confirmation of what we're mobilising to, so we can determine whether we need to increase or decrease to make an appropriate response to that emergency.
And we can have a look at some of the photos that people have sent in to you. Sometimes it does mean that you don't actually need to send the fire service out.
Yeah, definitely. You know, there's been instances where we've sent the mobilisation, and when we've reviewed that imagery, that live stream, we've been able to determine that it isn't an emergency. We've stood those resources down. Those resources are then being available again to respond to any other emergencies you receive at that time.
Yeah, it's important to say you can't cheat this, so you can't send a photo that was taken somewhere else or at another time.
No, the functionality of this software is designed so that what we get is what the actual caller is seeing and sending us, and it is constantly updated and reviewed to make sure that that security is always in place.
And are you hoping something like this will be rolled out to fire services across the country?
Yeah, definitely. West Midlands Fire Service Research and Development Team sort of went through the development and produced this piece of software with Capita, and now what we're looking at is that others see the benefits that we're getting from using 9999 in the West Midlands.
Eddie, thank you very much. Very impressive stuff. Rav.
Time now for a quick update, and detectives tell us that so far this series they've made arrests for robbery, kidnap, drug offences and also arson, and that's all as a direct result of the information that you've given them. Plus, you may remember last week detectives wanted your help as they tried to identify a murder victim whose body was discovered back in 1971 in Burnton-on-Trent. Well, the investigation was focusing on a man who went missing from North Wales just a few months before the body was found. As a direct result of the appeal, the family of that missing man have come forward, and police say DNA tests will now be carried out to confirm whether they are the same person. Brilliant news. Please do keep those calls coming in. Tina, tell us, where are you tomorrow?
Well, Rav, I will be heading just up the road to West Midlands Police Dog Training Unit. I'll be seeing how Cocker Spaniel Dash is training to find drugs and meeting the latest batch of very cute canine recruits. Not all police dogs are as cuddly, though. I will be coming face to face with one of them. I'm a bit nervous about that, if I'm honest, Rav. Find out how I get on tomorrow.
Good luck with that. For more details about the crimes on today's programme, go to our website. But before we go, here's another look at this morning's Wanted Faces. Any of them look familiar to you, then pick up the phone and tell us where they are. We're back tomorrow morning just after breakfast. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.